Good evening, Facebook family and friends, YouTube family and friends. This is Sheba, and I am your happy bug. This is Talk Tuesday. We are here again, and tonight we're here to have so much fun. I'm very excited. Not that I'm not always excited, but I don't know. It's always something special about the moment. So this is a great one. We're doing a fill in the blank tonight. So it's a if I had blank, my relationship would have been blank. So the guests with us tonight are going to fill in those blanks for themselves individually, and I'm just looking forward to it. And I can't wait to see how this pans out tonight and see what we learn new, because we always seem to learn something new. So welcome, thank you for joining us tonight. We have Shay and we have Quill, and we're still waiting on two more people. So I can't wait for them to come and give you some of their if only they had done something different. So since we're already kind of a little bit behind where we originally planned to be, I'm just going to open the floor and give it to Shay and let her talk to us about what she would have or could have done differently in her relationships. And this is not all to do with relationships with just our mates. But of course, those are the ones we kind of remember most. But this also can talk about relationships with our friends, relationships with our family. We relationships go, they're very broad, and it's a very deep subject. So welcome, and hopefully we'll enjoy ourselves tonight. So Shay, the floor is yours.
Hey, so what I could have done differently in my relationship is be more aggressive. And I say that because I'm a very person. I don't like to argue. I'm not a confrontational person. So if you tell me the sky is purple, I'm just gonna be like, whatever, it's purple. So that's just me. So I just feel like if I was more aggressive, my relationship would have turned out way more differently than it is than me just sitting back going with the wind.
Right. What do you think? What do you think being more aggressive would have done for you?
Well, for his family, for instance, they don't take to me. So I never really pushed
Mhm.
the issue in the beginning. Now it's hurting me and my kids because it's like, okay, I have these kids, and his family don't accept me, but I don't really care about that. But it's like, okay, they're not accepting my kids. So I feel like if I would have been more aggressive in the sense of you need to talk to your family, you need to come to a common ground or an agreement of what this is going to be about, then I feel like it would have been totally different instead of me just like whatever it is what it is.
Right. How has that affect you? How has that affect you in your marriage? Has it affected you in your marriage?
What, the family part or the aggressive part?
Yeah, the family part.
Oh, it's horrible. It's so horrible. I hate it. Like if I would have my 26-year-old self would have told my 18-year-old self at the time, I would not be in this situation today
Wow.
had I known better.
Where do you think the problem lies? Is it like the mom, the dad, the sisters, the brothers? How where exactly does the problem
It's
lie?
the whole it's the whole family. It's like a collective unit hate Shay. The problem is everybody. It's like a cultural thing because they're Jamaican and I'm American. So,
Mm.
my upbringing is different. They just don't like it. Told me herself, I want my son with a white woman or a Jamaican woman. So I'm not what she pictured her son to be with.
That's really damn fucked up.
Hey, stop. Stop making that face.
No, because some people are so damn bold and they so fucked up, so they think that the shit that they say and do is damn right. That's fucked up. I had a bit of a family issue.
That's why I said it.
Say it again. Say it again.
I said, and that's why I said if I would have been more aggressive, if I had known better when I was younger, I wouldn't be in this situation today.
Do you think it would have been better, or do you think it would have caused more problems?
I think it would have been better because I would have put my foot down.
Say that last part again, because you're breaking up.
Oh, I said I think it would have been better because I would have put my foot down and let him know what I was going to stand for.
But is it really him or is it his family? Because I mean, it all
It's
sometimes
all of
seems
them.
like yeah.
No, I said it's him too because he never stood up for me. So if you don't say nothing, they gonna a person gonna keep doing stuff. So it's just they a package at this point.
Right. The reason why I asked you is because for me, I had a couple issues too. But I'm real aggressive, you know. I've never been
I
passive
can see that.
at all. But I don't like when people do things that I feel are unfair. And there's just some things I'm not gonna ever let you do to me, around me, about me, about people around me. Like I get on people for everybody. Like every situation warrants a get. That's what I call it. I have sometimes I have to just get people. And it was, believe it or not, it was one of the determining factors of me letting my marriage go. Because to me, family was a very big thing, a very, very big thing. And when I realized that the family my husband had, I thought loved me the way I loved them, or they saw me as they saw their brother, or they saw me as they saw their husband, or whatever the case, when I realized that they didn't, it constituted an issue for me. And so when I let it go, I said to him, and I was very clear on it. I said, "Well, I'm not just losing you. I know better yet, I apologize. Let me go back. I am only losing you because I know that the family is not with me. Like we're not a family already. So I am only just losing you." So walking away wasn't as hard because then I didn't have to worry about disconnecting from his family either because I realized all the shit they were saying about me. And it made me realize that maybe they didn't really love my ass anyway. Not everybody, but those ones that mattered to me. The ones who mattered to me, that's where the issue was coming in at. So I think it's a really rough thing for a family, for you to have problems with the family because that's a part of the man. Like the man is like you
It
said, they have
is.
a package deal. So that's a rough one. And how do you cope with that? Like, what does that do to you? Like, because family functions are vital and the things that you guys do as a unit, that's vital. So how do you deal with that?
Child, I'm still dealing with it. It's no family functions. It's just a mess at this point. And I'm in family, not family, but marriage counseling for that reason now because it's and then today we got into an argument over it because he think his mom has COVID and I'm like, that's good. You concerned. And he snapped at me because he's like, oh, you wouldn't care if she died. And I'm just like, just because I care for the lady, like don't mean I don't. That's why I'm just like, it's a big strain on the relationship.
That's not funny, but it's kind of funny. What do you
It's
say?
funny
You
because I
wouldn't
laugh
care?
at it. Like
Yeah.
I'm looking at me, I wouldn't though. Like at least he know because I told him because I even drew up divorce papers and I told him like I'm letting you know now in this moment if something happened to those people I wouldn't feel no type of way. Like I had to come to a place where these people hate my guts. So it's just like I just need peace and positivity and light. That's all I need. And them being around me, I don't want nothing to do with those people. They brought me to a real dark place. Like I was dark depressed. Like I don't do birthday parties for my kids anymore because of those people. They almost sent me to jail. So I don't want to be around them. I don't care whatever if something happened to them. It is what it is to me at this point with those people.
Wow, that's a heavy situation. When I put this together, that was, I would say, one of the last things I actually really thought about. What you just came, that situation with the whole family, it would have never crossed my mind in this type of topic. So I'm actually really happy that you brought it up because I'm sure there's more than you who's battling that type of situation, and more than you, and probably 3 times or 10 times more than you. and that's a rough one. And I hope the viewers can drop us some nuggets because um my argument and fight over the family didn't go on as long because I didn't realize until the marriage was almost over. So like that was one of the drop ups. Like that was one of the things I was like, you know what, man, I'm just losing his ass. Him and his damn bullshit. I ain't worrying. You know, the family don't like my ass anyway, so I'm not losing a parent. Like I'm not losing a whole nother person. I'm only losing the man. And what happened was they said I had voodoo on my huh? What you say, Shay?
No, I said your kids are way older than mine. So I
Yeah, but
think that's another thing with me. I'm still figuring that out too with the walking away type of situation because it's like I feel like those people robbed me of everything, robbed me of a marriage. I could never have like a whole wedding. Like I eloped. I was 7 months. It was just me and him, no family. So I
yeah,
just it's just
but
a lot.
how does that situation affect you with him? How does that affect y'all as a unit?
It's a lot for me. It's a lot of resentment, and then for him, it's stressful because whenever we're his family, from his dad recently got married, he didn't invite him to the wedding because of me, and I'm like, what that have to do with me? He could have invited you and told you, don't send me. Like I wouldn't have went anyway, but those people
Hey,
are crazy. So it's like
so
they
the
don't want to
mama
be
and the
around.
daddy fucked up. That's goddamn crazy.
Oh, no, they all don't like me. They all do. And then what makes it worse is he's the only boy and he's the baby.
Mm,
So he's spoiled. He is the baby and the only boy.
wow. So the sisters, the brothers, everybody. That's
Oh, he the only
interesting.
boy.
But where's this? I mean, what? Not the brothers. What are sisters?
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
like them either. Well, they don't like me. I just feel like it's you don't like me, I don't like you.
do you not like them because they don't like you?
And I'm not a hard person. Yes, they started with
Okay.
me. Well, one of them, I don't have no issue. I can't say anything bad about her. But the other one, the oldest one, I still owe her ass whooping. And I told her that. The last time I seen that heifer, I ain't gonna fight her in her mama house, but I seen her at the store and I was pregnant. So God spared her in that moment. And I was about to whoop her when she came to my house because that ass whooping was owed to her. Then that's when she called the police and tried to get me arrested. And I told the officer, I said, don't you think she wouldn't be talking to you if I would have hit her?
Right.
But then the other one is that one she could just go to hell on a super plane. The other
Ooh.
sister. I don't like fake people. I could respect the oldest one because she let me know what it was from day one. But that other one, you in my face and I can't get with it. I can't.
Right. And you think being a little bit more aggressive would have changed that, or would have made it worse?
I think it would have changed. No, I think it would have made it a whole lot better. Because over the years, I've gotten aggressive, and I feel like it's gotten me a lot further in life.
Hmm.
Putting my foot down.
Okay. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. We're gonna let Aquilus tell us his what if. Ooh! If only I had blank, my relationship would have been blank. Let's chit chat.
I had been more forward thinking,
Start
and
over.
okay, if you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. If only I had been more forward thinking instead of being a spur of the moment person, I would have actually been in a long term relationship. Cause
Explain.
yeah, I got you. When you're hanging out with somebody, when y'all comfortable with each other, time tends to go by very quickly with y'all because
Hmm.
y'all enjoying each other's company and y'all are so into each other and nothing else matters at the moment. But the problem was we were just enjoying the moment like with no like destination whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It was just enjoying each other's company, enjoying each other's company. You know, when we see each other, we see each other's all good. But I look up and we already 2 years in.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, and it hit me. I was like, yo, cool, you know you actually have to like put something like do something with this situation. Because you can't just keep like you guys are people thinking y'all together, people asking where your girlfriend at, and I'm like, which one? And or are they saying there was like you know, or they asking me, you know, what y'all got, you know, what y'all got going on? Y'all getting married, this and that. And I'm like, and I'm still telling them like, no, I'm single, we friends. But it looks confusing because they always see us together. We always hanging out. We taking pictures together, everything. So
Yeah, she wasn't
yeah,
your damn friend, but whatever.
yeah, and the thing was, what I realized is, like at that moment, she wasn't defending the situation. Like people would ask, and she would just kind of laugh and smile it off, like no, no, but she wouldn't say we were just friends. You know what I'm saying? She just kind of like go with it. I was like, yeah, I need to do something about this situation. And so I said to myself, had if I would have been more, you know, forward thinking and
Mm-hmm.
say to myself, you know what, well, you just can't be spending time and just lollygagging without no destination. Like, you know, I think I would have been in a long term relationship. I think we would have been good. It's just that, you know, at that point I wasn't ready to settle down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we were just in a situation ship. That's the best
Mm-hmm.
way to describe it. A situation
Yeah.
ship.
Would you consider it? Would you consider it something that you, if only you could have done over? If you had a redo, what would you have done differently? Because you said at the time you wasn't really ready to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a really common thing nowadays. I don't know
Yeah.
what the heck it is for you guys, but a lot of men are going through this thing where they don't want to really be in a solid relationship. They just want to be friends. And there are no such things, no goddamn friends when you start sleeping with someone. But I
It's
think a lot of women has fucked up that game and allowed it to be okay to have been said. And when a woman parts her body open for a man to lay himself in it,
mm-hmm.
they're no longer friends. Now people can call it what the fuck they want to call it,
Yeah, yeah.
but when you read it, it ain't no friends. Because even when you search up the term companionship, you'll find out that there's no friendship. There's only a friendship and companionship. So people kind of got the game all fucked up a little bit. So what would have been different
Um,
if you had a do over?
I think I would have made it clear from the jump. Um,
Mm,
and also, well, no, no, no. Let me say this. We started off as, you know, we're not looking for anything, whatever. But I didn't continue it in the sense of I got comfortable with the process. Like I got comfortable with us hanging out all the time, hanging out all
mm-hmm.
the time, hanging out all the time. So I would. That's one thing I would have kind of limited on the time spent because you know with time spent emotions grow. So
No shit, Sherlock.
so so yeah that 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 right there I would have definitely limited the time we spent together.
So you didn't want more than what you was giving her anyway.
What do you mean? What you say?
So your forward thinking would have been to protect her from gaining more feelings anyway. You still never
Yeah,
wanted anything.
yeah, it's still a woman.
Wow, that's so fucked up. Well, I know this is about let's go a little bit deeper into this relationship thing. Because why do guys do that? Why do you do that as a fella?
Um,
Blatant
it,
truth.
that no, I'm gonna tell you. Um, I've gotten to a place where I've gotten comfortable with being single.
Mhm.
So because I'm very comfortable with being single, I have the mindset of, hey, Quillis, there's 4 billion women on this planet. You're not losing anything. You're not losing an experience. It's 4 billion women on this planet. And even if 99% of those women have no interest in you whatsoever, that still leaves you with probably 40 million other women that probably take interest in you. And probably, you can hang out with and have friends and everything. So
Oh,
there is no.
Yeah, she done did the math.
So,
what'd you say, Shay?
I said he done did the math.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got this shit down to a science.
He real deep.
Project. Yeah, I got this down to a science. But yeah.
I see. You got too much.
So
He's still young though.
it ain't.
Your ass gonna get old, and you gonna need some damn companionship. Ain't nobody gonna be fucking with your ass when you get older. You're gonna be able to do shit when you get older. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you don't want to be in a relationship out of need.
Yeah.
Most people in relationships out of need. Call it what the fuck it really is.
And that's why they fucked up. That's why shit be fucked up. But yeah, I
so mean. That's not true.
No, but this is what I mean. I'm big on peace. Like I'm big on peace. Like I have no problem being single for the rest of my life because of peace. Like that's how serious I am when it comes to peace. Like I'm big on that shit. So when it comes to relationships, I'm gonna just say I haven't found the right one yet. But if I do, if I don't, life is still amazing. It is what it should be. So I'm relationships. I mean, whether it happens, whether it doesn't happen, I'm not really, tripping about it. But going back to your question, men do that. Number one, we do that to evaluate first of all what type of woman we're dealing with, and then where we are in that time and in that moment in life. Because a lot of men would want to settle down. They might find that chick and they might want to give her the world, but then they realize, you know what, I'm not in a position right now to do that. Even though they know that woman might, stay with them and that woman might be willing to build with them, but as a man in his pride, he can't put it. He won't let his pride won't let him put himself in a situation where he's staying with this chick, but he knows that he can't give her what he really wants. Like what he really wants to give her. Like he wants to give her the world, but he can't do it. So that's why then you have some men who just stay with the chick because, truth be told, he knows she ain't gonna go nowhere. He knows she ain't gonna go nowhere. Believe it or not, he knows she ain't gonna go nowhere.
She ain't going nowhere.
She ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some.
You want to walk away and can't.
Yeah. And then you have some men who stay with the girl because he got a lot going on. Like he has a need. He has a fear of abandonment, fear of being by himself. He has a fear of, if I don't find if it ain't her, it might not ever be anybody. So I gotta hold on tight to what I have with her. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That might be a lot of people's truth. What's your take on that, Shay?
About what?
What Aquila
about the fear of being seen. Oh, I just want to know what his take is gonna be when he's 50 and and all his close friends, got grandbabies running around. That's what I want to know. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, at some point, like Sheba said, we all gonna need somebody. Everybody needs companionship. That I agree with. I feel like at some point we all get lonely at some point.
Yeah, but do you want to be with somebody because at some point you're gonna be lonely? Think about it.
No, I'm not saying that.
She's not saying only
that's what. Again, I agree with that too. Sometimes. Yeah, like I'm saying. you know, you gotta find that person that you're comfortable being with. You feel me? It ain't just gotta be because you want to be lonely. Like you gotta love the way they wake up in the morning. Because some of us have an ugly ways. You gotta love the way they take a shower, the way they sleep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's somebody out there for you. What you said? It's 6 billion of us in the world.
No, 4 billion.
4 billion and like 4 million of us who's willing to give them a chance.
No,
That's what you
million.
said?
No, 40 million. Don't lower my number. But yeah.
Okay, well, you got.
Oh, shit. Okay. 40 million is a lot.
So it's 40 million. Okay, it's 40 million. It's somebody out there for you. But me personally, I just can't see nobody going through without a significant other. Like to me, that is sad. Like when they get old and like, who gonna take care of you? Who gonna come? Like, you know, see if you still breathing or something. You probably gonna be one of those people that's in the house dead for 3 months because no companion. I don't like that. That's the
damn long time for somebody not to be able to find you.
Well, this conversation went so left.
No, that was a pretty good idea. But that was pretty good.
That's a terrible
that was
idea.
pretty good.
That's a horrible idea. What in the world? That girl said dead for 3 months. Lord Jesus.
Dang. Well, that's her seeing. That's her forward thinking. See, that's what you talked about. Forward thinking. You breaking up, so we hear you, but we don't.
Oh my God. I thought I was dead in the house for 3 months. Lord Jesus.
Shay, you broke. You're frozen. Can you hear us, Shay?
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
Oh, okay. Because you were breaking up
on me.
We can hear you for the moment. You were breaking up real bad.
Yeah, I can hear y'all. I don't know.
But yeah.
But I can still hear y'all. Y'all can keep talking to me.
Okay, so we can keep talking. You know, Aquila's like, I actually respect the fact that you know that what you do and don't want. I actually have a really solid respect for you. We always have those conversations. They get really deep when you start talking to me like that. It's I guess it's a little disheartening that life will put people in that headspace. But what's really funny is I was married for 10 years and I enjoyed being married. I absolutely enjoyed it. I enjoy the monotony of being married, like kind of knowing what tomorrow holds, you know. Jealousy tore my marriage up. And jealousy was a big thing, and the whole family situation. But jealousy was the worst part of it because I wasn't sure. See, like I like to know. So the part where I didn't know, that made me weary. The part of him popping off one day out of jealousy, doing something stupid, that uneased my spirit, you know. So every time there was a fight, it kind of created another issue. So if I had it to do again, I would never have divorced. If I had it to do again, I also would have been more patient in a lot of situations if I had it to do again. Because what happened when I lost a lot of my patience, the love kind of dwindled too. So do I love him? I love him. I love Gary. I will always love him. But to be his wife, I don't love him to be his wife anymore. So that portion of what we shared was dwindled on. But doesn't take the fact that I love him as a whole. So I do love him as probably more than I love all my friends. So I have a different level of love for him, but at the same time, all of those problems that we had just kind of put a damper on what the love that I felt for him. But overall, I loved it. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I loved cooking his dinner. I loved sitting at his feet. You know, we had like a little schedule. I used to sit at his feet and I would soak them even if I didn't give him a pedicure daily because he stood on his feet a lot. So I would soak his feet and I would cook his clothes and cook his food and wash his clothes and, take care of him in that way. And those were the things that I loved about being married. So it's just kind of hard to see that people don't enjoy loving people that way. And I think that's why a lot of issues arise in relationships for that reason. Because what do I want to say? How do I say that? There's something about a connection and what makes you love people. And if you don't have a connection and what makes you love, you're not gonna enjoy doing those things because problems make you lose a lot of feelings. Problems just kind of keep you out of that love zone. They kind of keep you out of that thought process. And I know you walked away. I'm hoping you was able to hear me while you was moving around, Quill.
Yeah.
But I think that so for me, that's a little disheartening that you feel that way because marriage is such a beautiful people. I guess that's me. I love people. And I think what makes us all different is what makes it so beautiful. But I'm not sure that everybody is able to say that same thing because of maybe things that they've been through. So what is your take on that? What y'all think about that?
I was just going back to Shay. Like Shay, it's even more disheartening than that people that are in relationships and are lonely. You understand what I mean by that?
True.
Like I've met a lot of people.
Yeah, trust me, I know. I've been there, done that.
I met a lot. It's like I met so many. That's crazy. I met so many people. Like when you ask them why they're married, it's like they have this look on their face, like I'm just married because we just happen to put a ring on our finger, and time has gone by, and it's been 30 years. But if you ask them what's going on, like why are you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that.
That's even worse than being by yourself. Because you have a companionship and you feel like the same way. That's even worse.
That is the worst feeling. Well, in that case, you might have separate. But I've sure been there in my marriage now. So I'm trying to get back to that place, but we get it back there. So I can agree with that.
Right.
The thing is, I want people to realize I'm not anti-love. Like I'm pro love, pro marriage. Hey, that's why I said I don't. That's what I said I don't mind being single for the rest of my life. But if I find it, then I'll definitely enjoy it and look forward to it. But at the same time, I don't mind being single for the rest of my life. That's the thing. I don't mind.
Right.
It's not disheartening. It's like, oh man, I'll never find love. It's not one of them situations. But if it happens, I'm so thankful. If it doesn't happen, I'm so thankful. That's the only thing.
Well, you don't feel sorry for yourself, but you don't feel sorry about it either. And I don't think, right. I don't think that you're anti-love at all. I just think that some things are just going to be easier this way. And I think sometimes too that when we get into marriages or we start dealing with people tend to think that because you have a problem, a moment in the problem, that everything's a problem, and that's not really true. Like happy people have sad moments, and sweet people have mean moments. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So I think that sometimes our expectations are level with what we think. Because if you thought something different of a situation, then you're going to get something different from it. If you went into a marriage, I think, well, that'll probably be another conversation, a deeper conversation. But I kind of tend to touch on this a lot. People don't really know what it really means to be married either. because marriage is nothing more than the contract in which you signed to be married. There's nothing more to the marriage than that. When you read marriage and you read marriage license and you study the words, the two of them, you will realize that they're both just a contract. So if you're marrying for love, you're marrying for the wrong reasons. The contract is to protect your assets, things that you have going through in life. The person that you love, you marry the person that you love to protect your assets. You have to protect your love. You have to protect your heart. You have to protect what makes you happy. You have to protect what makes you sad. People don't do that for us.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes we look to people to satisfy those issues. And that seems to tend to be the problem. We expect more from our mates than we do from our friends.
True.
And you develop friendships for the sake of being a buddy.
Yeah.
A marriage was only established for assets,
Mhm.
but we tend to put more on them. And it's because we don't know what belongs where. That's what I think a lot of the problems are. What were you going to say, Shay?
I was talking to somebody yesterday and they told me you don't get married for love. You marrying for love, you marrying for the wrong reasons.
You
And
are?
I'm still trying to figure out what they meant by that.
Mhm.
And
Well,
it kind of sound like
well, well, I have a
love,
book.
you married. They was something along the lines of married for stability.
Say it again. You're breaking up. Say that last part again.
No, they was telling me like you married for stability.
It. I. I'm gonna. Only reason I'm gonna
You heard
disagree
me?
with that.
Yeah, you're breaking up. You say you're married. The person told you, hold on 2 seconds, Quill. You
Yeah.
said the person told you to marry for stability.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
Okay. Well, when I have a book over here, and I have an article in it, and it's called "Marriage versus Marriage License." And when you read that article, I would hope that you will be able to get from it the motive behind it. I think there's nothing wrong with marriage. I think marriage is beautiful. But if you're marrying for love, you're marrying for the wrong reason. You should marry someone that you love, not marry them for love. And there's a difference. If I marry you and I love you, I'm marrying you and I want to protect you. When your mate passes away, if your mate ascends before you, then your mate should be leaving you some assets. That's what marriage is really for. Now, love is something that you guys tie between your hearts. That has nothing to do with being married. And in the Bible, a little bit to the Bible, it says, he who finds a wife finds himself a good thing. But when you study what the word wife really means, you will find out what you was really married. But that's another story.
Yeah.
Go on, Quill.
No, I wanna hear more about Shay's relationship. Because she has a very unique situation. Um, and because that, believe it or not, a lot of people deal with it.
I don't know if I should be.
I would say a lot of
You said not a lot of people deal with what?
like your situation is very unique. That family thing is deep. That thing is
That is
serious.
really
Like
deep.
that's especially islanders, like that stuff is deep. That thing runs deep. Like it gets real. But before going back to you say with the love situation. Can you hear me?
She can hear us, I think, but her
Yeah.
connection is real choppy.
Okay. I was
I can
yeah, I
hear
was saying
y'all.
okay. I was gonna say with the going back to Sheba with the love thing, like I feel like when you get married, you're doing it because you generally it's two people coming together to enjoy this journey called life. Like enjoy life together. Like enjoy the time spent, enjoy the experiences, enjoy the person. Love, I feel like self love is the best love. So when you're trying to find love in somebody else, that's where
Mm-hmm.
things get screwed. That's where things
Correct.
get messed up. You know what I'm saying? Self-love is the best love. So when you're marrying somebody, you're literally marrying this person because you're saying to yourself, you know what? I want to spend my life with this person, enjoying this thing called life. Enjoying this thing, enjoying life and enjoying the experiences and enjoying this person. Um, and I want to bring them into my world. I want to share their world. So we're going through life, enjoying the journey of life and what it comes with. And I feel like that's the essence of marriage. It only gets weird and crazy when people literally are trying to find love in each other. Because there's nobody will love you better than
Correct.
you love yourself. Nobody. Nobody.
You can only share love with someone when you know what it feels like anyway. So if you're looking for someone to
Exactly.
fulfill that, you're going to be fucked up anyway, because I
Yep.
can I can only I can only share with you something that I
Go ahead.
understand the feeling for.
Yeah.
I would never offer a person a glass of ice water if I never drank one on a hot day myself. It just wouldn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You would never offer a person a rag when they're sweating unless you have used one when you were sweating yourself. So you can only show
Exactly.
somebody or
Exactly.
try. The thing I think the biggest problem with, I believe, what people go through too, is that they forget that they have their own feelings. And I think sometimes we're trying to pelt what we feel and expect people to receive it based on how we feel. You can't do that. Sometimes we have to
Yeah.
separate our prejudice from situations so that we could be better for the person whom we're dealing with in that situation. I have a training class, and that's one of the things. Being able to separate your prejudice. If the way that I love is comfortable for me, and I realize that that's not what makes you feel love, and I am in a relationship or a situationship with you, that means that I need to move around my intention so that you can feel love the way that I receive it myself. Because that's not, as you know, a lot of people say your love language. Like I was having a conversation with someone like a couple weeks ago, and they said, "Well, what makes you feel love?" I said, "What makes me feel love is when people think about me when they don't have to. When a person shows me that they're thinking about me in a moment where they really don't have to." My auntie did something that was so profound to me. We didn't grow up together with her being my aunt. We're the same age. She was one of my grandfather's other children. And we developed a relationship of a more stronger bond within the past few years. So we've been like really tight. We're almost like cousin sisters or whatever you would call it. And I sleep with a rag in my mouth every night because it's a habit I developed carrying one of my children. And one day she came here with a two hand towels and a back scratcher. And let me tell you something about those hand towels. Those hand towels are so vital to a relationship that we've developed, because
Mm-hmm.
that means that you're thinking about me when you don't have to. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't owe me anything. And I think people forget that what makes them feel good makes others feel good. If I would never go and buy her hand towels because she don't need hand towels. But if I focused on her enough, I could buy something for her that would make sense to her.
Mm-hmm.
That's your language of loving someone. Sharing that feeling that you once felt. So love is one of those things I think have people disconnected. So if you're marrying for love, you need to know what love feels like, because other people just don't make you happy. People don't make us happy. People don't make us sad. That is a fact. And I battled with that concept for a while. I battled with it. I'd be like, well, if that person didn't do something stupid, then I wouldn't curse them. And I had to really, really start focusing on that. Like, wow, that person really didn't make me mad.
Yeah.
It was the way I received what they done that made me mad. When we develop that concept in truth, marriages will last longer because you only marry for the contract. That's a fact. That's a fact. And I'm telling you, when I read it, it fucked me up real deep, and I didn't really know how to handle that when I read it. But it was true. Made perfect sense. What you got to say, Shay? Because I know you got something to say on that one.
No, I don't. Because I told you I need to come get that book you got over there. Because when they told me that yesterday, I told you I'm still trying to figure out what they mean by that. You don't marry for love. Like,
marriage is simply the contract. Yeah. Because one of my books, the book I'm telling you about is one of my books. I have 3 books. And one of them I did articles. And 2 of the articles, and what made me kind of dig into that is because of the way people play on words. I have an issue with people who call themselves spiritual and they go to church and everything, and then they say, oh, I'm discerning you. The hell you mean you're discerning me? You're judging me is what you're doing. So I went in the dictionary about judgment versus discernment, and that article in there too. But particularly, I went back to marriage, but what I found was behooving to me. Because I found out that being a wife wasn't a good thing. But that's another story. That's gonna fuck you up when you read.
I told you the wife that I can't be that wife.
Don't call me a wife, bitch. Call me.
You sound like you was a great wife.
Yeah, I was a great wife. I gave him what I married him for. I gave him what I married him for real, for real. But I was his missus too. So yeah, that's another story. You gotta read the book. What you want to say, Aquilus? Because you look like you want to say something.
It ain't hard. I mean, you hit it on the money as far as especially with the love language. Because believe it or not, it's a lot of relationships. They're just push and pull. They're just push and pull. And the reason why they're push and pull is people are operating on different love language. They think, okay, because my love language is physical touch and words of affirmation, I have to offer physical touch and words of affirmation to that person, not realizing that person's love language could be acts of services, gifts, quality time. So you think that because you love something and you give it to that person, they might not receive it the way you're giving it.
Correct.
The way you're giving it, and then on top of that, with relationships, the biggest 2 things is communication and understanding. Like a lot of people are married and dating, but they have no idea who each other is. They don't have the slightest clue.
The slightest clue.
And then even bigger than that, truth be told, men and women, we process things entirely different from each other. Entirely different from each other. We look at marriage entirely different from each other. We look at money entirely different from each other. We look at relationships, family, friends, situations.
Especially friends.
Yeah, especially when we look at things totally different from each other. And I think that's something I don't think we really fully grasp the concept of that. Like men and women process things totally different from each other. Totally. And that's one of those things where every time, we never sit, like, unfortunately, men and women, we never actually sit down and have a conversation as to, hey guys, let's actually try to understand each other. It's a whole bunch of men ain't shit, hoes ain't either. Fuck these hoes, fuck these niggas. It's a whole bunch of that, and then it's a Ferris wheel. It's just a Ferris wheel of the same shit over and over and over and over again. Nothing never changes. Nothing changes because nothing changes.
Right. What you laughing about, Shay?
Because he talk about men ain't shit. That's not true. We say
No,
that
no, no.
because men be doing stuff that make them ain't shit.
What? No. What?
I'm just saying.
Shay, you ain't hear what I was saying. Like the whole when I
She
was
might be
saying how.
choppy. She might not have
I
heard it
heard
all.
what you said. You said that we don't sit down.
Yeah,
I
no, I
heard it
said
all. I was
no.
listening. I heard it all. But
We can't hear you. Start over, Shay. We can't hear what
yeah,
you
you
just
went
said.
mute. No, I was listening to Quill. What he was saying.
No, Shay. I was saying that like we don't have we need to have a sit down because we're all each other men and women were always attacking each other saying men ain't shit, women ain't shit, hoes ain't either, niggas ain't shit. We always saying this same rhetoric over and over again,
Right.
and we don't realize that and we don't even realize that we're speaking this stuff into existence.
Correct.
That's another thing too that we don't realize we're doing it because it's so normal. It has become so normal to just say that and just continually say it over and over and over again, and we just kind of go with it, just a way of life. And then even when we try to explain, okay, it's not that men ain't, just like what you was about to say. It's not that men ain't shit. We just be doing. Then again, once again, you know how many times like that's so normal to hear.
Collective group. It's a selected group. I feel like not all men. It's a selected group, but some of them know that they be doing wrong. They okay with it.
Yeah, but Shay, that's on both sides.
Yeah.
That's on both sides.
I totally agree. I agree with that 100%.
Absolutely. But then Shay, now Shay, exactly. Richard hit it right on the money. Thoughts are things, because thoughts are energy. So you got to think about it, Shay. Now that we know, okay, now that we have settled. Okay, you know what? Men ain't shit, hoes ain't either. Well, women ain't shit, hoes ain't either. Now that we've gotten that, we've been saying that for centuries on that. Okay, now what? Now what? Now what? Now what do we do? So okay, we know that niggas ain't shit.
We gotta get them together. We gotta.
Now what? Yeah, Richard,
we gotta talk about why they ain't.
Yeah, okay. Now that we talk, because listen, we've established 1,000 reasons why we know they ain't shit. We've established that. Okay,
right.
Now that we know all of the reasons, just like Richard said, the power of the subconscious mind, he hitting it right on the money. Now that we know that, now what? Now that we know all this stuff, now what?
How do we handle knowing that?
I told you. Thank you. How do we? I said, yeah, how do we? Well, I mean, if I'm an ain't shit female, if somebody tell me that I'm not an ain't shit, I mean I need to take a look in the mirror and figure out what make me an ain't shit female or a hoe. You feel me?
I think communication would be greater because all you have to say is what makes me ain't shit.
Yeah,
and then
you gotta also be careful who's telling you that too, because you can't be the pot calling the kettle black.
But remember, it's easier to see other people, right?
Yeah.
So if it's easy to see other people and someone is seeing themselves in you, then you let them tell you, and then you tell them what you think about them too. Now we've determined that we're both fucked up.
Yes, exactly.
So now, since you're telling me what I see in you is true, and you're telling me what you see in me to be true, what can we do to fix it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop doing what I've done because that looked like what you're doing. I have a shirt. I used to have a shirt, and I could actually remake it, so anybody want can have it too. It says, I'm perfect. I become perfect by what I don't like in other people. So I guess I suggest that you find someone that you can judge so we can be two perfect people. So when two people are seeing wrong in each other, that's the way you fix it. But you have to be willing and able to see that you're fucked up. And a lot of people can't see that they're fucked up. So that's why they get into relationships
Yeah,
trying
they
to
don't.
change people.
See that.
You can't change people who ain't willing to be changed. It's just like teaching people who ain't willing to be taught. You cannot teach a fucking idiot. You just can't. I don't know how many times you write that shit on the board. If it's an idiot, it's an idiot. He has to be willing and it is what it is, or able to see what's wrong.
Yeah.
And most people can't see how fucked up they are. Marriages, and they happen more in marriages because people that got married to change a person. Oh, I'm gonna make him better. Oh, I'm gonna make her better. You can't make that motherfucker better. That bitch fucked up anyway. You just gonna add yourself to the pot of his fucked upness. Because you ain't never gonna change him until he ready to change. That's just like asking.
Okay.
That's just like believing that you could change a cheater. You can't change a cheater. That bitch is tired. When he gets tired of fucking, huh?
No, I was gonna say Shay got the perfect example. You see how she had that family situation going on.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, if you probably ask that family, they don't see nothing wrong with what they're doing.
No, because they don't see that they fucked up.
They don't see nothing wrong with it. It's normal.
That's true.
I believe that.
Anybody that tells you what they wanted for someone that chose you is fucked up. You didn't choose you for your husband. He chose you for himself. Anybody who think otherwise is a goddamn fool. So yeah, they fucked up and they don't even see. You see that shirt? It says some people are fucked up and they just can't control it. Shirt for the night. On sale for $20.
Now, Sheba, I am gonna say something like it's somewhat of a sad reality, but when I was, being out there being a thought,
Ooh,
believe it or not,
nasty.
believe it or not, it's sad to say, but majority of times it's easier to sleep with a married woman than it is a single woman.
Yeah, you told me that. Let's talk about it.
Yep.
He always
I
says
could see that. I could see is why, because that brings you back. No, but I could see that because I'm married, and like he said before, being lonely in your marriage, I could see that. I can understand that because a single woman, she getting men. She always got men that's probably got them in her pocket, or she probably got 3 or 4 during the week coming by. But a married woman, you could wine and dine her, and you gonna make her feel like special, new, like make her feel like she felt that in a long time. So I can agree with that.
Because you know how they tell you. I don't know if you ever heard the expression familiarity breeds contempt. So when majority,
I've never heard that one. Say it again.
It's called familiarity.
Familiarity
breeds contempt. So I had the OGs. They used to teach me the game. They literally broke it down for me. They was like, cool. When you meet a girl, and don't holler at a girl that if she's between 1 and 7 years of her marriage, don't holler at her. But that 8th year, now you can kind of like, if she'll tend to be a little more receptive to you. And at first, I'm thinking to myself, damn, I'm like, bro, this some crazy ass for a dude to actually for them to have this shit down to a science to the point that they can tell you what year to holler at year to holler at the girl. And as I actually started experiencing it myself, I totally understand what they was talking about. Because it's sad to say, but a lot of times when people get married, people get very comfortable with each other, extremely comfortable with each other, to the point that it's like you have that, they're gonna be there, and they ain't going nowhere type of mentality. And unfortunately, with women, believe it or not, women love having fun, and this is something I've learned. Women hate predictable men. They hate that shit with a passion. Like men that are systematic, like I know what does he do? He come home, go to work, take care of the kids, come home. Like when their life becomes monotonous like that, when it becomes a routine like that, believe it or not, they're in the danger zone. They're in the danger zone. Like
You mean the
and
man?
the both the woman and the man. Like me. Okay, let's say me, I'm the side dude, right? So I'm telling you, let's say me, I'm the side dude, right?
Right.
So I'm talking. My first thing was, don't ever ask the girl whether she's married or single or married, or don't ever ask relationship status. Don't ever ask that.
Okay.
This was literally what the OGs would teach me. Don't ever ask the girl her status. Even if she shows up with a wedding ring, everything. Like she showed up with you on a date with a wedding ring, don't ask nothing about that. Because if she like you, if she likes you enough, you'll know what you need to know. Right? And of course,
Right.
women are big on one of the things is women are big on conversations. And another thing is women are big on women are very detail oriented, so they love men that pay attention to them. So when you see people in these relationships where her and her husband might not be having those deep conversations no more, they might not be falling asleep in each other's arms no more, they might not have movie night on the couch no more. When those intimate moments go away like that, the woman still desires those things. She still because I realize it's always the small things. It's never nothing big. It's always the small
Right.
things.
Yeah, you're right,
So
brother.
having conversations with married women, like to where we sending texts and those texts all of a sudden turn into a brunch. Those brunch turns into, hey, let's go out for drinks, and drinks go out into, let's we end up in each other's bed and everything. I'm telling you, like it's a harsh reality. It's hurting to see that. Like it's heartening. It's disheartening to see that. Like it to the point it was to the point where like some of the OG I used to hang out with, they would literally holler just at married women. Like they wouldn't holler at no other girl unless they knew that she was married.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But it happens, and what's bad about it is that it's because it's so common. I think people they tend to not realize what's really happening to them,
Yeah.
and a lot of times people don't realize what's happening around them. And I think a lot of it is because we're seeking happiness in other people, and we're seeking happiness in other things. And I think that's a really big issue. So in closing remarks, what are your takeaways from this conversation, Shay?
Let me go reevaluate my marriage. No, I'm just playing. Chris, Will taught me a lot. Like I'm sitting here listening to him. Like he needs to go write a book. Like you sound like you perfect husband. Like you taught me a lot, but it's the truth. You was speaking nothing but facts. Like women don't like men that do everything like systematically. I can agree with that 100%. And sleeping with a married woman is easier than a single woman. I can agree with that. Like it's crazy. Like y'all schooling me. I'm just receiving it all.
But then that should also, but then Shay also that should teach. That should be something that with women, they also have to realize that with men, one of the biggest things with men is appreciation. Like, and we like for a woman that takes her time to understand us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you see, like, for example, if you walk in the house and you see your man sitting on the couch, it's easy to just assume something's wrong with him, or he might be deep in thought, or he might be going through a lot. But you got to realize that men, we process things internally. So it might not be nothing wrong with us. We just process things like just like women process things externally. That's why communication is very big with women. So we process. That's what I'm talking about. Where we process things differently. That's what I'm talking about. Like women, when you take your time to actually know, like how men think and how we move and how we see things, our perception on life. When you really like do that, and you don't let the I don't want to say the feminine. I can't say that. You don't let the female perspective cloud the male perspective. Like you literally try to take your time to really understand it from a male's perspective. Like men really appreciate that a lot, a lot. Like we really do.
I think a lot of the problems, if at best for people, is to open up their thinking, open up their perception, and realize too that the intention is not always met. Like the intention that we have is not always properly received. And I think sometimes as people we tend to lose we tend to lose that, and we tend to not care enough about the other person and about other people. And I think that's probably a really big problem that a lot of people do have in their relationships. I think communication is one of the worst things that people have going on in their relationships. And this is the time I will tell you guys that I do have a training class called Proper Communication. And if you have never taken it, it might be a good idea to take it. It's a 4-week training class. Put in 2 weeks block. So week 1 through 4 will be done in a 2-week block. Communication is how we get through a lot of things. Communication is how we get through life, the whole life process. Even when we're younger, when we're babies, we're communicating when we cry. And people always jump to us when we cry as babies, trying to figure out what is wrong, but we don't have any words. And it's kind of odd that mothers seem to know the baby's cry, but we don't tend to look into look into the cries of people's words when they're being more specific in them. When they're able to talk to us, we tend to lose that closeness with people and that understanding with people. And I think that's a really big thing. There's a lot of things that a lot of us could do to change our relationships if we just kind of took half the moment to think about some of the things that we do in our relationships and stop setting expectations upon others or each other that we wouldn't want to be set upon ourselves. So I hope that hopefully that the people who tuned in tonight really take something away from this, as it is always something that I've learned. I learn every time I come here. I love having my guests on, so thank you guys very much for tuning in. And thank Shay and Quill for sharing their thoughts with us, because those are very powerful words when we share them with each other, because it kind of helps bring us clarification in the moment, and hopefully for us later too, so that we can come back and look over this and kind of apply some of this to our lives. Even when it comes down to our children, communication is important, because they too is the relationship we have with our children are us as parents to our children. So if we could change this, how would we have done something differently? I'm not married to anything that I do, because I think that change is very important. I think sometimes we just have to make little we have to fine tune some things to make them a little bit better for ourselves and make them better for the people around us. So once again, I hope that you guys enjoyed your stay here with us, and I hope that you guys are going to be with us here next week, because we'll have another topic. It'll probably be some type of relationship or family topic. So thank you again, Shane, for tuning in and coming on tonight. And thank you to Quill for coming on and having your conversation with us tonight. So we'll see you next week here at Talk Tuesdays. This is the Happy Bug signing off. You guys have a wonderful, great rest of your evening.